So as you know, you can clone developer repos and take snapshots of Salesforce orgs. And when you do that, you get the latest metadata information, either from the developer project or from Salesforce. And as you run reports and work with that information, or if you push that information between two orgs, then you're working with the latest metadata assets and you're moving them between the items. But actually, Snapshot doesn't get rid of the old snapshot that you replaced. In fact, Snapshot maintains a time series of snapshots automatically for you. You're just working with the most recent. And if you want to look into that, you can select the Manage Time Series item. And when you do that, it will show you all of the previous snapshots that have been taken for this item. So for example, if we look at the current snapshot and the deployment history, you'll see it's the most recent thing versus all the other deployments. But if we go back in time a little bit, you'll see the snapshot go back in time on the list of deployments. So this is a really powerful way to look at the history of what's happened in your org, and for compliance and backup, it's just absolutely key. Now, one of the things you can do is you can select one of these previous snapshots and target it. And if you target it, that means all of your reports and metadata pushes and everything are not looking at the most recent, but in fact looking at one of the historical snapshots, and that will be reflected in all of the interfaces. Now, of course, every time you take a new snapshot, what automatically happens is it adds a new one that becomes the most recent, and that becomes the current target. So that's how the targeting works. You can also select any of these snapshots and import them, export them, or delete them if you would like to clean up. The other thing that's really useful to do is you can compare differences across the time series. So let's look at the difference between the most recent snapshot here and the one that just happened a few hours earlier. And if you're looking at custom objects, you can see that one custom object was deleted from the time series and another one was created. And so one's missing on the destination and missing on the source. That's what this shows. Now, if you look a little farther back in time, you'll see there were more differences. One object here was changed and two are missing, and now one was missing on the destination. If you look a little farther back in time, you'll see more differences and more differences and more differences. And so what's happening is as you look back in time, the number of differences will increase, and you can compare source versus destination, anything that's happening. And this is actually where also this works as the metadata differences report works, where you can select a couple of things that you want to keep track of. Those automatically show up in the display report tab, and then you can schedule that report. And so what's interesting about this, you can say, hey, every time there's a new snapshot, send the PDF report in email to me, but only if different assets are reported. So a very powerful way to keep track of changes on a single snapshot and to watch for metadata differences that you want to alert your team to, or maybe just every time the org changes, you want to send out the differences. So a very powerful capability here to manage the time series for any snapshot.